Hello. I thought I would return back again to this PDF that many of you have downloaded from me, How to Invest in Mortgages, Buying a Note from Soup to Nuts. If you haven't already got this PDF, I'll send you information about how you can get it. But let's say that you've already read this. You can see that it's 31 pages, including the cover, and so obviously it's 30 pages of content. And it starts with this table of contents. And you can see in the table of contents that starting on page 8 and continuing for a while, all these pages, it's reviewing various criteria for selecting a note. So you read that and you say, okay, I need to keep this in mind, I need to keep that in mind. But I thought today I would unpack for a little bit how I actually do this in a very efficient way using mostly Excel. So I thought you might find that interesting. If you might decide to do it for yourself or at least know how I do it, either way, it's kind of interest. So let's take a look again at that here. You can see here from that table of contents, highlighted in yellow, are those topics that we're going to see how to filter in Excel right now. And those that have a check mark are ones that I can usually filter even before I download an Excel or before I have somebody send me a list of properties, of notes that they would like me to look at. So the focus is going to be primarily on these highlighted. And if we continue down past payment history, there's one other that I've got there in the Excel, which is the crime score. So we'll see examples of all of this, how I do that. And really the trick to it is just to create these extra columns. So if I get a file, here's a typical file, it's usually going to come to me looking like this. It may look different from different sources, right? But it's going to have all this stuff, and you can see there's even stuff I can't read here. It's all X'd out because I haven't adjusted the columns. Don't want to waste time. I don't want to waste time trying to make all the columns look pretty and all this stuff if it's not going to be something that I'm going to be interested in anyway. So I want to get right to the meat and potatoes, and that's what these columns are that I create. These are the ones that I add into a list, these here. So let's take a look at these then. So all of these, I'm going to move myself out of the way here. All of these are, you can see, first of all, I got a column that says okay. This means that I'm going to kind of dig in a little bit more. I'm interested. And these that say no, as the name implies, means I'm out. I've already made a decision I don't want. So you can see on this whole list of notes that I downloaded a couple days ago, we have 16 no's and 0 I'm interested. So this is why sometimes I'm a little bit, time goes by before I send a note, because it's easier to say no than to say yes. There is all of these different reasons why I might say no. Now again, we've talked about this before. If you've had meetings with me one-on-one, you know that I admit that somebody else might buy that note. It's just not me that's going to buy it. So one of my criteria is that if the crime score is double the national average, I'm sorry, I'm just not interested in the note that's secured by that kind of an asset. And you can see this one has a very nice investment to value. That's what ITV stands for. It's quite low, which is good. Below 70% is the criteria that we're looking for. So this one got killed because of the crime score. And the way I do that is I'll go over to the ADT, and in this case it was located in zip code 08104 in Camden, New Jersey. And this ADT map, which is free, goes ding ding, and you can see from this dark red border that it's well above the national average. So this particular, the security that secures this note is located in a high crime area, and that's why I'm not interested in buying that note. For all the reasons that we've discussed when we've had one-on-one meetings or if you've read the ebook. So this one got a no. Now this one, you can see what happened here was it's highlighting. I've got this formula that's going to go and look at, the valuation, and then there's this other thing that's hidden over here. But anyway, it's the price, and it's well, my goodness, they want me to spend 23% more for the note than the value of the property. Come on, man. I mean, I want to pay 70% or less, not 23% more. So this one is, I don't need to look at any other criteria. I found this criteria already. It's a no. Same with this one. It's a no for that reason. Okay, now here's one. Well, you see how if there's any one of these that's a no, I don't need to keep doing any more work. So here, I was looking at the payments and it says 393 estimated payments. What? So a 30-year loan would be 360 payments. Oh, how can this thing have 393 payments? I guarantee you, I'll tell you why. I don't even need to look at the paperwork. It's because this loan's been modified. And the loan has been modified because it had some kind of a problem. The borrower was not able to pay, so they said, okay, I'll tell you what, why don't we spread it out even more and lower the rate even more? Anyway, when I see more than 360 payments on a note, I know that there's been problems in the past and I'm kind of like already losing interest. So I saw that and I said, no. I don't need to explore more that one, even though it has a very attractively low investment to value. Okay, so what about this one? So here's one where it's a low crime area. Apparently, I use this own, when I'm rating visuals, I have my own system, but B is pretty good. Investment to value is nice and low, but you see I have this question about the pay history. So the pay history stops in 2019. And so I reached out to the seller and found out that indeed it did really stop in 2019. I don't know why then this note was listed as a performing note when it's not performing. Wrong classification, there, cowboy. And also there's a lost note affidavit in there. There's no allonge. It's had forbearance 2 times. Come on, man. So I don't want that note. Here's one where I've said the visual is a D. I'll share with you what that D looks like through my eyes. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I looked up this address at 626 First Street in Stamps, Arkansas. And I went to Google Maps, and that is the underlying asset. So, it's like I don't think I want to own a note that's secured by that asset when I look at it in the picture. And I kind of am looking around the neighborhood too, and it's like, oh, yeah, dirt road, no. I kind of lost interest, right? So that's why I said no to this one, because of this D. Now here's one. It starts off with, I got this formula in here, so I see these instantly. So it's got a nice low investment value, but I went and looked it up. Here it is. It's 4140 Sutton Road in Blythe, California. And I looked at that thing online, and here's what that looks like when I put in this address. It's like, oh, where is this thing? So you go to Zillow and pull that up. It's like, oh, Well, we go back again. Let's click on this thing. And, you can click on the satellite view. And there it is. There's our subject property. Oh, let's pull back. That qualifies, my friend, as the boonies. And the problem with the boonies is that if I ever did get this property back, I have a hard time selling that little rascal, wouldn't you say? So this is why I lost interest in this note. Now, here's a note. It's got a average crime score. It looked pretty good. It's got a pretty low investment to value. It's a little bit above my tolerance. But now I said, okay, well, let's take a look at the pay history. And I look up the pay history, and here it is. I've only got a total of 5 payments. The first payment was 56 days late. The second one was 88 days late. The third one was 119 days late. And these 3 payments were all made on the same date using a credit card. Not. There's only 5 payments. Can't you at least get your horse out of the barn? So it's like I rated this pay history as F and said, moving along, cowboy. Don't want this one. Here's one that I looked it up and it turned out to be vacant land. Vacant land is a wonderful thing. It's a kind of investment strategy that I believe in. We could all talk about vacant land. There's a way to buy it that makes a lot of sense, but not just kind of like some random note that's secured by vacant land. No. I'm not interested in that. So here's one where the investment to value is just a bit above my tolerance. Here's one where it's a little bit closer to my 70% tolerance, but it's in New York. I see it's in New York. I don't buy notes secured by assets in New York or New Jersey or Cook County. So that one was automatically out. This one was out because it only has 2 payments, which is not enough seasoning for me. Here's one that was out because it had a high crime rate. Here's one that didn't look very good, and it's also in the boonies, and then 2 more that in a high crime rate. So I think you can see from this that by setting up these columns, crime, visual, pay, investment to value, yield, which I would get to if I got past these others. I never got to yield on any of these because it was already ruled out, right? State, which I'm ruling out, New York and New Jersey, and also Cook County. And then any other reasons why I might rule out is my column that I use for that. So you can see from just those few columns that I can make some decisions pretty quickly. So with that having been said, I did promise that at the beginning that if any of you that are watching this have not downloaded this ebook, I recommend that you do. Just send an email to me here at jim@gthorne, and you can get this ebook. Many of you have had one-on-one meetings with me, but if any of you have not, then feel free to send me an email at this email address. I'll send you a link to my calendar, and you can go in there on Calendly and pick a day and time, and we could unpack this topic further or anything else that you have questions about. Okay, well, that's it for now, and thank you very much. Talk to you soon.